I'm 33. My husband is 36. We both have the first marriage, no children, but I want, and he does not mind. It's been 3 years since we've been married. In general, we live very peacefully. We both work. I have two higher education. He earns 30% more, but I am more sociable, and he is more athletic. We both like to go for long walks. He teaches me to ski, and I teach him to cook. In his parental family, his mom has been drinking for a long time and a lot, and almost no one communicates with her. Dad also drinks regularly, but he works and earns well. He builds a house, communicates with his eldest son and his family. My husband says he has been used to constant gatherings and large amounts of alcohol consumed since childhood, and in my family, my parents only started trying alcohol when both their daughters were already grown up. I am anxious and restless. I always have to do something or think about it. I like to improve myself, make plans. That's the only way I calm down and start to live up to my fictional ideal. Unfortunately, I more often fail to remember than remember that my husband is not obliged to follow my beliefs and happily fit in with my preferences. My husband doesn't like to make promises. He has friends, all in other cities, with whom he hardly ever socializes on his own, and is generally used to living alone. In addition to this habit come 2 cans of beer, with which he can dilute the evening. Probably 2 beers is not much for a young athletic man. But there is no benefit from daily libations, and even there is harm, but this is the zone in which a person himself must decide what is more expensive for him, this evening comfort or a healthy liver. I think I have, despite the obvious harm from his habit and the direct impact on our family life. After all, I want children and am preparing for it. Soon will be laparoscopy, and while I pass all sorts of tests, and if in other areas he goes to meet me and do something, mainly it is sports, nutrition, appearance, his friends. Then in the situation with alcohol now, it is no longer possible to even talk. Here again, I will have to stipulate that I am in the old habit of often sawing his brain. Yes, some small amount of pressure-loving spouses are ready to withstand, but with a certain dose of pressure grows their irritation and love decreases. Actually, and with alcohol is the same thing. I would like to give it up, but it's hard for me. When at hand solid beer, we live in the south of Germany, and Italian wine. So at first I asked my husband to drink less, so as not to be tempted. Then we kind of agreed not to drink just so at home, and go to a restaurant or meet with friends. When we began to go to restaurants more often, I began to avoid them, and he began to go to the bar to watch soccer. Before that he watched at home under a beer. All these stages were accompanied by my sour face and sometimes remarks that we had agreed. When we arrived at the hotel and sat in the sauna, I have gradually reduced my alcohol consumption, and he has gained reasons to drink it. And here's the most recent incident, yesterday. We spontaneously went on a Friday night outing where he had 1 beer at dinner, and when I asked him not to have any more when we arrived at the hotel, I sensed his irritation. But when I explained that I was about to ovulate and let's at least until then you won't drink, he softened up and didn't go for a beer. The next day my husband really wanted to celebrate our anniversary with a glass of champagne, which we did. But before that, he also had a punch and right after, a cocktail. I didn't say anything, but of course I counted in my mind, and managed to. I was planning to have dinner somewhere, and while I was getting ready for dinner, I heard him getting ready to leave the room. I said, "Where are you going?" He was going downstairs to get a beer at the bar because it was so good to drink it after the sauna, and immediately jumped out of the room. When he came back with the beer and I finished the restroom, I went out to him and told him that I didn't like it when he did that he didn't even give me a chance to say something. He flared up and got defensive. I tried to explain to him that I had asked him to do something yesterday. He said he doesn't get drunk and he only drinks beer. And he's drinking less, and why do I get attached to him? Because we're on vacation and he wants to rest. And anyway, it didn't take long for him to say his crowning "leave me alone," which makes me cry and stupor, and he knows it's a trigger phrase. I still tried to say something, asked if it would always be like this, and in the end I said that if I leave him, it will be because of alcohol. Because otherwise I like it with him. I'm better with him than without him. Since he refused to talk, I had no choice but to keep quiet. This morning is our anniversary. We packed together, had breakfast separately because I cried again and didn't want to go out like that, even though he was waiting for me. Then upon arrival, I got busy sorting things out while he went to turn in his car, made dinner for both of us, tidied up, put the laundry on. I try to just do things and look neutral if possible. He does his own thing too, but I still have a hard time looking in his direction. It turns out I've turned ours into a war. On the other hand, if I dislike alcohol, I have the right to look for another partner, not drinking at all. But to force this one to be different. I want to have a baby with him. I'm not building air castles that after him I'll suddenly have a roundel and be able to get pregnant quickly. The two of us have really improved a lot and we don't need anything. But every time he drinks a beer, something inside of me falls away because the phrase beats in my head. He chooses alcohol over me. I realize that a man should not have to choose between his needs and his partner. Both should get along, and a partner has no right to force a choice. I understand that I lack logicality of action, some coherent strategy of behavior. Inside a conflict, I am very afraid to react because I don't trust my reactions. I am not brave because I often cling to it and give away my need. But also courage in my mind is in my willingness to walk away at any moment if I say the wrong thing, which I'm sure is not the kind of courage one should dream of. That is, it is extremely difficult for me to catch the balance between myself and the other, to stay true to myself and close to the other. That's why I have different questions. I wonder, are there any effective emergency methods to correct the situation? How should I behave now in the next few days? Should I try to talk myself? About what? Or wait for him to talk? To look at him or not to look at him? Less of a disgruntled face? Is there a future in our relationship? Maybe give up the pretense of alcohol, not just externally, but internally. The desire to drink depends on the husband's inclination, and probably to save this marriage, you should accept that the husband will drink. He still enjoys it, and you need to change the attitude to his drinking to calm, and if he then turns into an alcoholic, regularly drunk to the pig state, even then think about breaking off the relationship. After all, for many people, moderate drinking is not a joint. What do you think? What is your attitude towards alcohol? Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There are many more interesting stories to come. Thank you.